Yeah. I still know what city you're in from a blurry story in a tag cafe. I know when you go home to visit. I know when you got back safe. You like to joke, I posted Sunday. I stared at it longer than I should. It is crazy how something can still feel normal when it hasn't been good in mine. So we didn't have one big ending, no slam door, no one to blame. Just less and less to say to each other, till silence started sounding the same. We still follow each other, that's the strangest kind of gone. I can see you out there living, I just don't know what's going on. Close enough to know your haircut, far enough to miss the why. We still follow each other, but not in real life. I still almost send you things. The first bad joke, the first bad news, a screenshot, a small complaint, the random stuff you used to get to first. I know your coffee order changed, I saw the cut, then somebody else's hand. But I don't know who you call now when the week goes wrong and you can't stand it. And every now and then you like a picture, like we're just people from the same old place. I hate how something that small can still completely rearrange my day. We still follow each other, that's the strangest kind of gone. I can see you out there living, I just don't know what's going on. Close enough to know your haircut, far enough to miss the why. We still follow each other, but not in real life. Maybe I shouldn't you your name, maybe that would help a little, but I don't wanna make you unreal just because we're different now. There's no rule for losing friends who still exist inside your phone. No clean cut, no final sentence, just a habit looking for a home. We still follow each other, and somehow that feels worse sometimes, like waving through a closing train door, already moving out of sight. Maybe this is what survives when the real thing doesn't. We still follow each other, but not in real life. I still reach for your name sometimes before I remember what changed. We still follow each other, nothing about that feels the same. I don't hate you, that's the problem. It would be cleaner if I did. If there was one sharp thing I could hold, one version of the story that stayed still. But every time I try to place it, I end up back in something true. You were good to me for a long time, and I was good to you. So where am I supposed to put this? All this hurt with nowhere hard to land. No villain, no clean ending, just an empty space I still understand. I don't hate you, that's the problem. There's nothing simple I can say. No easy anger to live inside, no neat way to throw this pain away. I still hope you're doing well, and I still hate how much it hurt. I don't hate you, that's the problem. It leaves the wound with nowhere to work. If you had lied if you had broken something, maybe I'd have somewhere I could stand. But mostly what we did was drift, and mostly no one raised their hand. Now when people ask what happened, I give them the shorter version first, because the longer one is just two people who couldn't keep what they once were. And that kind of sadness gets awkward. People want to point a card, something they cannot quickly, not this soft, unfinished loss. I don't hate you, that's the problem. I can't reduce you down to blame. You're still tied up in too many good things for me to talk like you were nothing. I still know your better sides. I'd still know why it matters so much. I don't hate you, that's the problem. It means I can't use anger as a crutch. Sometimes I wish you'd been crueler, just enough to make it plain, just enough to let me leave with one clear reason in my hands. But maybe that's unfair to wish for. Maybe this is just the cost of having something real with someone, and then having to survive the loss. I don't hate you, that's the problem. I just don't know where else to go with all this care that lost its place, and all this grief that stayed soft as I can miss you and still mean it. I can hurt and still be kind. I don't hate you, that's the problem. And that's what keeps you on my mind. No slander, no single sentence, just pain with nowhere sharp to point. Some people talk about old friends like once it ends, it all turns false, like every good thing needs to be corrected. Just because it didn't keep going, but I can't do that to what we had. I was there, I know what it was. It held me up in real ways, on real days that still count. No, we don't have to still be close for me to tell the truth. Not everything that ends was fake, not everything unfinished was confused. We were real, even if we ended. It mattered, even if it changed. I won't make it smaller just to make it easier. I won't talk like it was nothing now. You were really there, I was really known. We were real, even if we ended, and I think that's worth protecting. You knew the apartments, the jobs, the names. I'd stopped explaining the version of me from back then that only makes sense in order. And maybe we don't fit now, maybe too much moved around, but that doesn't cancel all the years where your voice could steady mine. I'm tired of acting casual, like it was just a passing thing. Some people shape your actual life, even if they don't stay in it. We were real, even if we ended. It counted, even if it hurt. I won't rewrite it as a mistake, just because I can't return to it. You were really mad, I was really changed. We were real, even if we ended, and I should get to stay true. I can leave the door closed and still speak kindly about the room. I can know we're done and still refuse to call it wasted. We were real, even if we ended, and maybe that's the kind of view to let something be important without demanding it follow you forever. You were really there. I was really loved. We were real, even if we ended. And I don't need to ruin that to heal. Some things don't last and still stay honest. That's what I want to keep. You used to send me half a thought from the grocery store, from your car, a blurry photo, a bad opinion before you'd even figured it out. Then somewhere in the middle of that, your text got clean and short. Hope you're good. Sorry, just seeing this like we were being CC'd on each other now. You weren't cold, exactly, that would have been easier to name. You were still nice, still decent, just careful in a brand new way. You started answering like a coworker, polite, correct, hard to know. All sounds good and no worries, where there used to be a whole conversation. I kept waiting for the extra sentence, the one that sounded like you, but everything started coming back like it could have been sent to anyone. I started reading punctuation like it had something to confess, a period where there used to be 5 more words, a heart react instead of a thought. I told myself you were just busy, I gave it every gentle excuse, but I knew the difference between tired and someone slowly stepping out of view. And that was the part that got me, not one big thing I could say, just watching all the worth get edited till nothing personal stayed. You started answering like a coworker, polite, correct, hard to know. All sounds good and no worries, where there used to be a whole conversation. I kept waiting for the extra sentence, the one that sounded like you, but everything started coming back like it could have been sent to anyone. Maybe you thought this was kinder, maybe you thought this looked clean. The tastiest eyes had torn to it, and I learned yours quietly. There was no fight to replay, no door to point and call shut, just me staring at my phone, thinking this is us. You started answering like a coworker, and I hit it all small. That sounds like nothing happened worth explaining, just a change in how you type me out. No slander, no final reason, just less of you coming through. You started answering like a coworker, and I had to read the rest from that. I still have old voice notes from you, laughing before you got to the point. Now every message went so softly, it leaves almost nothing to hold. The chat was quiet for an hour. Then somebody sent a meme, and weekend plans, and 2 voice notes, then 3 people answering at once. I watched the little bubbles rising, like nothing had been moved, like the room was still the room, just with less of me in it. I think some part of me believed if I went missing it would show, like there'd be this awkward pause, like somebody would notice the echo. But the group chat kept going, jokes landing right on time, dinner plans and side conversations stacking up like I was never there. I know the world doesn't stop for anybody, still I hate how fast it proved. The group chat kept going and I didn't know what to do. Changed the name again. Someone sent a photo from a booth. I knew that table, knew that corner, knew exactly who sat where. I almost typed a dumb reply just to feel my shape still fit, but staring at that blinking line felt worse than saying nothing did. No one said this feels different, no one named the missing space. Everything just kept on moving, and that was the hardest thing to face. The group chat kept going, jokes landing right on time, birthday plans and screenshots flying by like any other night. I know people don't mean harm just because they carry on, but the group chat kept going and I learned how gone can look. Maybe this is how it happens, not with speeches, not with blame, just a thread that used to hold you, learning how to hold your place. And everybody still seems decent, nobody turned into the bad guy. It's just your life keeps happening somewhere, and one day it doesn't include mine. The group chat kept going and I read it like a bruise. Every laugh a little proof that absence doesn't make a sound. I want some kind of disruption, something I could point to, something true. But the group chat kept going, and that was the proof. I muted it for one whole weekend, then opened it at 2 a.m. They were halfway through another joke, like I had never touched the thread. I found out from a picture 3 hours after it was posted. Your face, their faces, candlelight, the restaurant off 8th we used to go to. I zoomed in like it might explain it, like maybe there was some mistake. But there you were, all leaned in laughing, and my seat was nowhere in the frame. Nobody called to make it awkward, nobody said, hey, just so you know. It would've hurt either way, I just didn't know it could hurt that slow. I wasn't invited, I just found out, and that's a different kind of pain. No fight to point at, no door to blame, just a normal night I wasn't in. You all still look like yourself, same table, same joke, same lie. I just found out, and it took the rest of the night. The worst part wasn't even dinner, it was how easy it all looked. Like this had maybe been happening long before this one photo proved it. I thought of all the tiny reasons or gotten wrong, then hated myself for searching for a version where I still belonged. I know nobody owes me a warning, I know that's not how life is done, but finding out after the laughter makes you feel erased by everyone. I wasn't invited, I just found out, and that's a different kind of pain. No one had to say it clearly, I could read it from the names. You all still look so comfortable, like nothing strange had happened there. I wasn't invited, I just found out, and suddenly that was everywhere. I put my phone down on the counter, walked around, picked it up again, like maybe looking twice would change it. Maybe I missed some harmless thing, but absence gets real fast once there's proof in black and white. Not dramatic, not loud, just a quiet thing that ruins your night. I wasn't invited, I just found out, and I know what that can do. How once the photo can reopen everything you talk yourself out of. Maybe it wasn't meant as cruelty, maybe no one thought that hard. I wasn't invited, I just found out, and that was hard enough. I wish somebody had told me badly, instead of me finding out alone. You started taking longer on the easy things. A joke would sit there for an hour, then come back with just haha. We still met up, still split a table, still talked about our week, but every story felt cut shorter, like you were saving parts from me. Nothing happened all at once, it was small enough to doubt, but I could feel the room between us starting to fill up. I knew before you said it, before the careful little talk, before you used that gentle tone, like you were trying to soften what it was. I knew before you said it, from all the ways you went quite there. Some things end long before they end, and I was already there. I knew before you said it. You laughed a little later, like you were checking if it fit. You stopped being the first person I told the small dumb stuff to. I asked if everything was okay, you said yeah, just tired, that's all. And I went home with that sentence, knowing it explained almost nothing at all. There was no big scenes to point to, no sharp thing I could hold, just the ache of watching something go careful, then go cold. I knew before you said it, before the careful little talk, before you looked down at your hands like that would help you say it soft. I knew before you said it, from all the ways you pulled away. Some things leave initials first, then all at once one day. I knew before you said it. Maybe that's the part that hurt me, not the words when they arrived, just having to sit there and pretend I hadn't seen it for a while. Like maybe if I stayed normal, it would turn itself around. before you ever said it out loud. I knew before you said it. Still I let you say it through. Like maybe hearing it clean and plain would make it easier to lose. I knew before you said it. I just didn't know what to do when something isn't broken yet, but it isn't yours the same way too. So when you finally said it, it hurt me less than being right. I knew before you said it. I just wasn't ready that much. We were better in kitchens after everybody else went home, leaning on opposite counters, talking in that tired, honest way. The cheap light over the sink on, one sock half off, your coat still on, eating standing up at midnight, like neither of us needed bed yet. It was never the big occasions, not birthdays, not crowded rooms, just a small safe hour after, when life finally told the truth. We were better in kitchens, with the fridge light and the quiet, you with your back against the cabinet, me pretending I was fine till I wasn't. That's the version of us I miss, not dressed up, not trying to win. We were better in kitchens than almost anywhere else we've been. You knew how to stay a little longer without making it a thing. One more story, one more glass of water, one more laugh from down in your chest. You'd read the whole day off my face before I got the words in order. Some people only hear what you say. You heard me before that, and I still catch myself in somebody else's kitchen at night, waiting for that exact kind of easy that never really comes twice. We were better in kitchens, with the cold tile and the hum, talking about nothing for an hour until it turned into the real stuff. That's the version of us I keep when the newer ones don't fit. We were better in kitchens than almost anywhere after it. Not every friendship looks important from the outside looking in. No grand trips, no huge milestones, just being there when the day wore thin. And maybe that's why losing her can feel so hard to explain. How do you tell somebody you miss a room, a light, a name? We were better in kitchens where the night got small and kind, where I didn't have to earn my place or think that hard before I spoke. I don't miss some perfect story, I miss how ordinary it was. We were better in kitchens, and I didn't know that was love. Now sometimes when I fight things out, I leave before it gets too late, because I still expect the part where you'd stay. We were better in kitchens. I think that's why they hurt now. I still have the habit, before I even think, something funny happens, something weird, something bad. And my hand just reaches a dumb screenshot, a terrible headline, a picture of the line at the store. And for half a second I still believe there's somewhere obvious for it to go. It's not even always serious, sometimes it's small enough to miss. But losing the first person you tell things to changes more than people think. I miss having someone to text first, before the story gets old in my mouth, before I turn it into something smaller, just so it fits somewhere else. I miss being immediately known, without having to set the whole scene. I miss having someone to text first, who knew what every little thing meant to me. You used to get the unedited version, typos, overreactions, all of it. The message sent too fast, the follow-up right after. You knew which name would ruin my day, which joke would actually work, how to read 3 words from me and hear the whole week underneath them. Now I do that quiet rearranging, like who's close enough for this? And by the time I think of somebody, the moment has already thinned out. I miss having someone to text first, before the feeling starts behaving, before good news turns into information, before bad news turns into a sentence. I miss being instantly understood, without context, without cleanup, without time. I miss having someone to text first, and not having to wonder if I'm too much tonight. I don't mean a grand dramatic absence, I mean the daily kind, the person who would have gotten there first, at the front of every thought, the one who knew the cast already, the backstory, the running bits. Now every message feels like starting over, or deciding not to send it. I miss having someone to text first, more than I know how to explain. Not for advice, not for fixing, just for witness, just for place. I miss the speed of being known, how natural it used to be. I miss having someone to text first, and I miss who I was in that ease. Now sometimes I type the whole thing out, then delete it line by line. It's strange what survives a friendship, even after it doesn't. I saw a picture of you laughing, with one hand wrapped around a drink, head tipped back like nothing in your body was trying too hard to be okay. You look good in that ordinary way, not staged, not proving anything, just easy in the room, like ease. Finally picked a side, and that was harder than anger, harder than something I could blame, because you didn't look broken, you just looked changed. You became easier without me, lighter somehow, more like yourself, like whatever I thought we were carrying was heavier on you than anybody said. I couldn't handle being hated, I couldn't handle something loud and cruel, but you became say your name so casually now. Yeah, they're doing really well, and I smile like that's a normal sentence, like it doesn't hit exactly where it does. You seem quicker in every photo, closer to everyone around, and I hate that my first thought is not happiness, it's wondering what I was weighing down. I know relief is not betrayal, I know people change and move, but it does something to your memory when we look better after you. You became easier without me, softer in the face, steadier somehow, like the space I left behind, closed up clean without a sound. I could have handled one ugly ending, one thing I could point to and say was true, but you became easier without me, and I don't know what that says about us. Cause I was heavy then, maybe you were only tired, maybe both of us were. I know this isn't a crime, nobody did anything wrong, but it's hard not to rewrite yourself when somebody heals and you're not in it at all. You became easier without me, and that's the part I still can't place. Not that you left, not even how, just a little strain stayed on your face. I don't want your life to hurt, just to make my version make sense too, but you became easier without me, and I am still learning what to do. Some losses don't make you doubt the ending, they make you doubt who you were in it. Nobody warns you about friend breakups, so the first time that happens, you talk around it. You say we just don't talk much now, like that's the whole thing, like that's a small enough sentence to carry what it actually did. Losing someone who knew your daily life can split a year in half. There's no right word for it that people hear and understand. No cards, no casseroles, no scripts, just you trying to sound normal when you can't. Nobody warns you about scary breakups, how quiet they are, how long they last, how nothing looks dramatic from the outside while your whole week keeps catching on it. No one asked you how you're handling it, no one really knows where to place the grief. Nobody warns you about friend breakups, but they can wreck you just as deep. You lose the person who got the reference before you finished half the line, the one who knew which version of your voice meant call me and which meant I'm fine. And if it was romance, people would name it. If it was death, they'd let it be sad. But this is just someone still alive somewhere, not knowing what to do with what you had. So you get good at understating, you make it sound like you make it brief, because people understand endings better when they come with a public reason. Nobody warns you about friend breakups, how strange it is to have no role, to still know the birthday by muscle memory, and still not know if you should say it. No one tells you how embarrassing it is to miss somebody in this exact way. Nobody warns you about friend breakups, so you let it while it's taking you apart. It's not that I need a ceremony, I know life moves and people do. I just wish there were better words for this kind of losing. losing without a funeral, this kind of ending without a villain, this kind of hurt without a scene, the kind that leaves you walking around looking mostly fine to everybody. Nobody warned you about fake breakups, how they hide inside ordinary days. In a joke you can't finish writing, news you don't know where to send, and maybe that's why they cut so deep. No witness, no language or relief. Nobody warned you about friend breakups, so when it happens underneath. Now when people say we're just not close anymore, I hear the whole thing inside it. I rehearse seeing you again in the produce aisle at a red light. At a birthday dinner I almost skipped because I heard your name might come up. I practiced looking unsurprised, like I hadn't thought this through for weeks, like my face would just know what to do and not tell on me immediately. I had a whole plan ready, keep it light, keep it brief, smile once, ask one normal question, leave before I say too much. I rehearse seeing you again, like it was a scene I could get right. What I do is in my hands, how long I'd hold your eyes, if I'd hug you, if I'd wave, if I'd act like time was simple. I rehearse seeing you again, more than I ever should have had to. I picked out one safe sentence, how have you been? Felt too wide, it's good to see you. Felt too honest, so I kept trying different lines. I even planned an exit, in case your voice still did that thing where it made me remember us too fast before I could keep myself together. And maybe that's embarrassing, how much thought I gave one chance, but losing someone without a clean ending leaves your body making plans. I rehearse seeing you again, like I could control the damage, like if I found the right expression I could keep the whole night steady. If you'd mention something ordinary, if we both pretend we're fine. I rehearse seeing you again, like that could make it feel strange. But real life doesn't use a version you practice in your head. Maybe you would be with somebody, maybe I'd be more hurt than I planned. Maybe we'd both be kind and awkward, maybe you'd barely stop it all. That's the worst part of unfinished things, they keep writing scenes that never happen. I rehearse seeing you again till it started feeling normal, like one day I'd round the corner and have to carry it in real time. Maybe I'd do okay, maybe I'd fall apart after rehearsing you again, because not knowing felt even harder. And every time I enter somewhere crowded, a small part of me still tracks, not because I want just because I never stopped expecting it. You're in all my old jokes, the ones I still almost tell, the stories that need one extra sentence just to make sense to somebody else. I still get to the good part too fast, like you'll already know the names. Then I hear myself backtrack and realize nothing lands the same. It's such a small kind of grief until it happens every week. How the funniest parts of your life can turn private when one person leaves. You're in all my old jokes, in the rhythm, in the pause, in the look I still expect back before the room decides if it's funny. Half of who I was when I was laughing was built with you in it. You in all my old jokes, and nowhere I can put that now. I still say, remember when? Before I catch it in my mouth, I still save the dumb details like they're headed somewhere safe. You were there for all the running bits, the weird nicknames, the bad impressions, the kind of history that doesn't sound important till there's no one left who speaks it. And I know I can still be funny, I know life keeps making more, but some laughs were tied to being old, and I don't have that version anymore. You're in all my old jokes, in the setup and the turning, in the part where I used to look at you before I even finished it. Half of what made those stories live was having you there first. You're in all my old jokes, and that is harder than it should be. I don't miss every memory equally. I miss the shared language most, the way all I could fit inside one glance across the room. Now I can tell the story correctly, I can't even make it sound alright. But what I really miss is not the joke, it's who was there when it was alive. You're in all my old jokes, in ways nobody else can hear, in the shortcuts, in the timing, in the parts I don't explain anymore. Maybe that's what stays after people, not the headlines, not the pain, just all the little ways they shaped how you tell the truth and make people laugh. You're in all my old jokes, and sometimes that's when I miss you most. Not when I'm sad, just when something should have been easy. I used to think the important ones would stay important in the same exact way, that if somebody knew you deeply once, they keep showing up like that. But life keeps changing its address. Jobs do, cities do, people do, and sometimes what was true for years stops being true in the same room. That doesn't make it smaller, that doesn't make it false. It just means some things were built for who we were back then. Some people only belong to an era, not because they meant less, not because anybody failed. Just because time keeps moving differently, you can love what something was and still stop asking it to come back. Some people only belong to an era, and maybe that's not sad in every way. You fit my life like that old apartment, the one I could still draw from memory. Which cabinet stuck where the light came in? What sound the floor made by the sink? I don't live there now, I don't even want to, but it mattered while it held me, and I still mean that when I say it. I think growing up is learning to stop calling every ending wrong. Some things finish because they finished, not because they didn't belong. Some people only belong to an era, not the whole story, just that part. The years when you were building, the years when you were becoming. You can carry what they gave you without needing them beside you now. Some people only belong to an era, and I think I'm starting to so long making two bad choices, either erase it or keep bleeding for it. But maybe there's another way to let it be over and still be grateful, to stop checking the door, to stop turning every memory into proof, to say that mattered deeply. And it doesn't have to keep happening to be true. Some people only belong to an era, and maybe I do too in someone else's life. Maybe that's not failure, maybe that's just being human. We need each other in a certain season. We change, we leave, we carry things forward. Some people only belong to an era that I can finally say that gently now. I don't need us back to know we were real. I just need to stop asking old versions of love to survive every year. But still retreating in the half second before thinking, when something small but specific happens, and my brain goes where it used to go. A picture in a bookstore, a joke you'd get too fast, a new place I would have sent you before I even finished walking past. It's not even always sadness, sometimes it's almost automatic, like part of me still lives in a version of the day that had you in it. I still reach for your name before the silence catches up, before I remember this is mine now to carry by myself. It's such a quiet kind of damage no one else can really see. I still reach for your name, like some part of me forgets what changed. I still almost say you'd love this to an empty passenger seat, still build the first line of a message, then feel the whole thing drop. It's strange what leaves you alive and still keeps showing up on time, not in some huge dramatic way, just in the little reflexes of being known. And I don't fall apart like I used to, it doesn't ruin every night, it's just a soft leftover echo that still gets there first sometimes. I still reach for your name before the rest of me steps in, before I turn a moment inward and let it close on its own. It's such a quiet kind of grief, the kind that hides inside routine. I still reach for your name, and that I keep going, and that maybe healing is not forgetting, maybe it's this. The pause gets shorter, the sting gets smaller, but some old pathways still light up when the world hits at that angle and you stop asking them to disappear. You just learn to live around, and I still reach for your name, but not the way I did before. Not like a door that's meant to open, just like a room I knew by heart. And every now and then I feel it, that old instinct passing through. I still reach for your name and let the moment come back to me. Some things don't leave all at once, they fade into reflex, into almost, into a hand moving first. I still reach for your name, and I know it's just part of leaving.